G'day course creators, Madison here, and in today's video I'm providing an online course platforms comparison so you know exactly where your course needs to live online. If you're ready to share your expertise and leverage your time by launching an online course, but are totally overwhelmed and confused by the plethora of options that are out there for online course platforms, or if your current online course platform no longer fits your needs, then keep on watching. Since establishing my digital course agency, The Course Clinic, the most commonly asked question I get is, where should I host my course online? And the truth is there is no one-size-fits-all answer to this question. It really is determined by your business and the course that you're creating within it. The thing that I like to say to online course creators is to ask themselves 6 key questions as to where your course should live online. Those are, what's the purpose of the course that you're creating? Who's the audience that you're creating this course for? What's the outcome that you want the audience to get at the result of the course? What's the stage of business that you're currently in? How much time do you have to dedicate to creating this course and to marketing it? And how much money do you have to invest in the whole creation process? Once you've got the answer to these 6 questions, you'll then be able to start deciding which of the 4 key platform types I'm going to be sharing with you in this video will best suit your needs. The first kind of platform that I want to introduce you to is the Standalone Platform. These are hosted platforms that are really more geared towards solopreneurs and small businesses that offer a turnkey solution to both creating your online course site and building and selling your online courses. The most common examples of these standalone platforms are Thinkific, Teachable, Podia, Ruzuku, and Zippy Courses. One of the most attractive features of the standalone platform is that it's often extremely easy to use and easy to learn. And it comes with a plethora of features that you can build into both your course and the purchase experience of the potential student. Not only this, but they allow you full control over your user data, and they often come with a large community of other creators and experts that you can glean information from so that you can make the course the best that it possibly can be. However, there are a few drawbacks to the standalone program, most notably being that they don't come with any kind of blog, so you really can't have them be your only website or web presence if that is something that's important to you in terms of creating content for your business. It also means that you're going to need to have a website external from your course site to host that kind of information on. It also means that you're going to need to have an external email management system if you intend on contacting your customers or your students for more than just course related material. Finally, customization can be a little bit limited as you have to work within their site builder. So unless you're really good at coding, you are going to be a little bit limited in how you can make your course site and the courses themselves and the players to look and feel. There are a few other things that you're going to need to consider. First of all being that you are going to need to market your course elsewhere. You can't just expect the site that you create for your course to automatically bring in potential students to you. You are going to need to market it through external funnels or social media efforts. So keep that in mind, it's not a marketplace. While a lot of these platforms do offer a free plan or free trial option so that you can get a feel for the platform itself, it's important to look at the details of just what's included in those, as sometimes they do limit how many courses you can create or how many students are actually included in that level of plan. And that may not fit your needs. So make sure to go and look at the fine detail before you commit to building all of your courses in this platform that may not suit your long-term needs. I'd also highly recommend doing a bit of shopping around, because whilst the features are fairly similar across the examples that I've shown and the many other standalone platforms that are out there, there are a lot of differences in terms of the look and feel and how you actually do the building of your course site and the courses themselves. So I would suggest do a bit of shopping around, try a few out in the free trials or the free plans that they offer, and find the one that best fits you how much you can understand it, what the level of support is, and really get a feel for those before you commit long term or start spending money. The second type of platform I have for you is the all-in-one platform. And it really is, as it sounds, an all-in-one solution to both hosting your content management system or website, as well as having email management capabilities or CRM functionality, which is a pretty cool feature if you want to have a one-stop shop for your entire digital presence. The most common examples of all-in-one platforms are Kajabi and Academy of Mine. What are the pros? Well, as I kind of explained, it's all in one. Everything is in one place. It's a one-stop shop for your digital presence, which means you have email functionality, you have site building functionality, and most often you have funnel building functionality. So it can be a really fantastic solution if you're happy to have everything in one place, keeps your business streamlined and simple, and means that you don't have to have lots of different logons for lots of different softwares and figure out how to integrate them. Although it's not all sunshine and rainbows when it comes to these all-in-one platforms. The reason being that they are often really high priced compared to some of their other competitors. And the reason for that is that they're all in one. They also don't have a free plan most of the time. They will offer you a free trial, but you got to be prepared to be paying those high dollars after your free trial period is over. You also need to consider the fact that they are going to have limited functionality as a website, really limited to how their site builder is built. So if you're going to want to do high level customization or be adding in fancy elements in the future, it may not be the best fit for your business. With all of that being said, here's a few things to consider. With that high price tag, whilst it may seem like a great solution where it's all in one, if you actually sat down and did the numbers of what it would cost you to host and build your website, to have a separate email marketing system, and to host your course on a different platform, would you actually be saving money? The other thing to consider is, if you're not saving money now, will you save money in the future? Because I highly recommend to any course creator that you choose a platform with the future in mind. So it might be the case that it is a little bit of a financial struggle to get that course platform, that all-in-one platform right now, but it could save you a lot of money in the future and a lot of headache if you decide that you want to move over to one of the all-in-ones, and then you've got to transfer all of your, not only your course information, but your website information as well. Another thing to consider is search engine optimization, or SEO. If your business is one that's really going to be utilizing SEO strategies to both grow your audience and be found online in the future, I'm not entirely sure that the all-in-one platform is going to suit you. And the reason for that is that there's not a lot of customizing and ability to do the more finicky back-end SEO stuff that the likes of, say, a Yoast plugin on WordPress or similar can provide you. While I have found through my research that the likes of Kajabi can still be found on the first page of search results if they've got a well-optimized page, it's only using the limited fields that are available to them to rank for those terms. So if it's important to you that SEO is going to be something that you are really focused on in the future, I'm going to say maybe an all-in-one platform is not for you. And finally, as with the standalone platforms, this is again a situation where you have to market your course elsewhere. It's not a marketplace. You're not going to be magically found if you don't have some kind of SEO working for you, or if you're not marketing your courses elsewhere in terms of social media or being found through podcasts and that sort of thing. Before we move on, I want to let you know that the most commonly used platforms I see my clients and people in the online course creators community, that's a mouthful, using online, we've already covered, those being Teachable, Thinkific, and Kajabi. As such, my video next week is going to be all about those three platforms, comparing them and reviewing them so that you can get a really detailed understanding of which is best going to suit your needs. If that's something you'd be interested in, make sure you hit that notification bell so you're the first to know all about it. The third platform type is actually not really a platform type. It's actually a set of plugins and themes that you can actually install on your pre-existing WordPress site. Yep, that's right, WordPress plugins and themes. The four most common being LearnDash, Access Alley, CourseCats, and Lifter LMS. The pros to installing a plugin as opposed to seeking an external platform is that you kind of own all of the course material. It's not something that's going to be subject to changes by the overall course platform in the future. Once you've built it, it's kind of yours for life. I say, with an asterisk, because who knows when plugins may be discontinued their support or they might update things. It's not a hard and fast rule, but generally it means that you own the content that you're creating for your course. So it can be a really great option in terms of that. They are also highly customizable, so you can really let your mind run free in terms of how you want to customize your course and your student experience. They also typically have really low ongoing costs, which, unlike the standalone or the all-in-one platforms, could be a real consideration for you. However, you need to be considering the fact that the initial setup cost can be a lot higher, in that you may have to pay for the plugin or the theme outright, and they're not always that cheap. The other thing is, because of the high customizable nature of these plugins, it may be the case that it's outside your scope or your knowledge base to actually be able to install your course on your own site, which could mean that you need to hire a developer external from your business, which can be quite expensive just to get your site up and running. So you really need to weigh up the high upfront costs for the low ongoing costs. One last thing that may be a little bit of a turn-off in terms of the WordPress plugin side of course creation is that you have to create everything from scratch. There's not really going to be a template or a site builder that you would get in the other platforms to help guide you along the process. You really are going to need to know exactly how you want your course laid out and be able to execute it inside your website. So just keep that in mind if you're a little bit unsure as to how you want your course to look. A few things to consider if you're looking at the WordPress plugin is the fact that it's probably going to be a lot longer between downloading that plugin and getting your course live ready to sell compared to if you went for one of the standalone or all-in-one platforms, simply due to the fact that you have to build it from scratch. So it's going to take more time. The other thing to consider is that technical support is a little bit more limited, in that most of the plugins really only have an email support system, and even then, again, if that plugin is no longer going to be supported or is discontinued by the business that originally created it, you could be left with zero support in the future. Just keep that in mind. And finally, I would just check, due to the nature of the fact that plugins could become discontinued, or due to the fact that you can't really trial them without having to initially outlay the money, just check that they actually have a refund policy, because if you install it on your site and find out that it's not really for you, you want to have that option. The fourth and final platform that we're going to cover in today's video is the marketplace platform. And the amazing thing about a marketplace platform is that you not only have the ability to author, assemble, build your online course, but you actually are provided with a marketplace to sell it to. The two most common platforms that I see in this space are Udemy and Skillshare, which I'm just going to break down a little bit because they do operate fairly differently. Udemy allows you to build courses and sell them standalone, setting your own price, but they do become subject to promotions that site-wide are run from time to time. Unlike Skillshare, where you create a course, they have pretty strict parameters around how you create your course, and you then are sold as part of a subscription model. So a user will come and subscribe to the entire of Skillshare, and then you are paid on a minutes watched basis. So however many minutes of your course has been watched, you are then paid a certain amount. The pros to hosting your course in a marketplace are actually pretty cool. Because of the nature of it being a marketplace, your course is automatically going to be exposed to a whole new audience you may not have encountered otherwise online. This audience are ready to purchase. They're there because they want to be learning something. So if they happen upon your course, the likelihood of them actually purchasing it is pretty high, which is, again, fairly uncommon in this online space. Whilst you might have people coming to your website who are becoming familiar with your brand, they're not necessarily at that purchase ready stage of the know, like, and trust factor with you. So marketplace platforms can really help solve that problem and get your course in users' hands, which can be pretty great, even if it is a low price to be able to test the content and see if people are liking what you're putting out there. Udemy even takes this a step further and will actually pay to promote your course during promotional periods. I don't know that this happens for every single course, but it is something that they potentially offer if your course is doing well, and they can see that it's going to be of appeal to other potential students out there in Facebook land or wherever they're doing their advertising. And finally, you do have access to all of your user data, which is pretty amazing because again, you can take that data and take it off Udemy and start to interact with those people in a different way and actually get them to be doing additional purchases off the Udemy site. As bright and shiny and amazing as marketplace platforms may sound, there are a few drawbacks. Whilst it might feel like all of your students live there and if you just put a course up, people will come and buy, it's not really the case. Certain niches are really oversaturated and it can be hard to be found through the noise that is that particular niche on these marketplace platforms. For that reason, you're likely going to have to market again off the platform in order to be found and to grow the popularity of your course so that it will be ranked and being brought up again in search results on the platform so that people buy it more often. Another downside, if it is a downside in your mind, is that the amount of money that you get for these courses that you create isn't exactly what you put as the dollar value of these courses on the sites themselves. As I explained, Skillshare doesn't even allow you to put a dollar figure. They are a subscription-based model, so you are only getting paid based on how many minutes people are actually going to be viewing of your course. And Udemy is not that much better. Whilst you may put a large price tag, you're only going to get a percentage of what you charge out for your courses, and that's going to be based on where the student found your course from. For instance, if they find you from a Facebook ad that Udemy itself has run, you're only going to get, I think, 25% of the sale value of your course, which is pretty low. And I think it only goes up as high as 50%. So the other thing to consider too is Udemy actually runs heaps of sales throughout the year. You've probably seen them yourself where you can buy a course for as low as $15, and they run these promotions site wide. So if you have a $200 or $400 course, it's going to be reduced significantly and you need to be prepared for that. Although from what I hear from Udemy course creators, it's not always a bad thing when these promotions do happen, because it does mean that an influx of students come into the Udemy platform and are purchasing, and you can actually kind of skyrocket your sales whilst not really skyrocketing your dollar value. However, as I explained, you can grab the user data and take it off the Udemy platform, and using the knowledge that someone who's purchased from you once is going to purchase again, you might be able to get additional purchases for other products or services or courses that you might have existing off the Udemy platform. So, good or bad? That's up to you. A few things that you should consider when it comes to creating a course on these marketplace platforms is to really think about how you're positioning your course. Because of the high saturation in a lot of the markets that are available on these course platforms, it's really important that you understand who you're targeting, whether it's a beginner, an intermediate, someone who's an expert level at the thing that you're trying to teach them. And then also getting really niche around the type of topics that you're teaching. If you're teaching an Instagram course, there's so many people on the likes of Udemy teaching you Instagram courses. You need to get more specific. There's even a lot of people teaching Instagram story courses. So if you can teach a really specific skill that is related to one of these more niche areas and just continue to niche down, you have more opportunity to start to be found on these platforms and be selling your courses. What I highly suggest is you go into these platforms and you start using their filter options to search for where there are lower saturation numbers, and then create a course around that area that's got less competition there for you to have to compete with. Now, while these platforms maybe aren't going to make you the millions, at least not straight away, it's not always the case that people are hosting courses on Udemy or Skillshare because that's where they want to make all of their money. The truth is, a lot of people are using these platforms as lead generation tools where they might get a small amount of sales, but really what they're chasing is that user data to be able to use elsewhere. So go into a marketplace platform really thinking about why are you there and what are you hoping to gain from selling your courses in this place. A final thing to consider is the fact that these platforms often have pretty strict restrictions and guidelines around how your course is actually structured. For instance, Skillshare requires that you not only have learning materials, but you are also asking people to take assessments or quizzes at the end. So you really need to make sure that those are built into your course. If you're looking at a marketplace platform thinking you could move an existing course that you have elsewhere to these platforms and you're just going to make all the money, it's maybe not the case, and it could be the case too that your course is not structured in a way that it's actually going to be allowed on these platforms. So again, go in with your eyes open, figure out what the restrictions are and what the guidelines are for how you create your course, and see if it's going to be a fit for what you want to achieve out of a marketplace platform. And that's it, the 4 platforms: standalone, all-in-one, WordPress plugin or theme, and marketplace platforms. I'd love to know which appeals to you, or which one are you currently using and why? Let me know in the comments below. I'm really curious to understand why people are choosing the platforms that they are and how they're making them work for them. I also encourage you to jump over to the Course Creators Collaborative Facebook group and open up a conversation with me as to which platform might be best for you. Or if you're not sure, come and ask, because I'd love to help you figure out exactly which one is going to best suit your business and your course needs. There are a lot of options to choose from, and I've linked all the course platforms that I mentioned today in the description below, so make sure you go and be critical and analytical about exactly which platform is best going to suit your business now and in the future. As I mentioned, next week I'm going to be doing a video all about the 3 most common platforms I see in the online space: Thinkific, Teachable, and Kajabi. So if you want to be the first notified, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell, and you'll be the first to hear all about it. Until then, I hope that you will keep sharing your expertise, skyrocketing your sales, and exploding your impact, and I will see you next week.